Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with If I Could Only Choose One Work by composer X, it would have to be work G. Well, composer X is Howard Hanson, and you know what work G is, don't you? It's Symphony No. 2, the Romantic Symphony, one of the most unfairly maligned and spat upon orchestral works in the entire 20th century canon. What a lovely, fun piece it is. It's a very French piece when you think about it, because it's 3 movements in extremely cyclical form, except they're very petite. I mean, they're concise. I mean, the whole thing plays for 25 minutes or so, and it's just beautiful. Of course, you get to hear the beautiful tune over and over and over, but we love it anyway. It's very sort of Star Wars-y in the finale, too. It's just a terrific work. It was commissioned and written for the Boston Symphony Orchestra, like so many other wonderful pieces of 20th century music by myriad people. And oh my goodness, it deserves all of the love that we can lavish on it. And I've talked about it before in videos, but I do want to make a couple of comments about this because, the idea here is to submit a work to the evil god Cancrozans, which is typical because the evil god Cancrozans has cursed classical music and is going to destroy all of it, but for one characteristic work per composer. Well, this is extremely characteristic of Howard Hanson. I mean, he used the tune multiple places, the big tune. And I just think that the American School of Symphonists gets so little love. And it's so diverse and so interesting. And it has really quite the history. I mean, we tend to think of it as a 20th century phenomenon, but there were 19th century, precursors. There was Payne, there was Chadwick. There are these people who wrote lovely symphonies. There's even Amy Beach. I mean, they wrote very, very attractive works. And, one of the things about the American school, which is the same thing. I feel the same way about that as I do about women composers, which is that second-rate American composers are just as good as second-rate European composers. Second-rate female composers are just as good as second-rate male composers. So if we are going to celebrate the second-rate, which is what record collectors do, let's face it, it's what we do. We're looking for interesting repertoire, unusual repertoire, a little-known repertoire. If we're going to listen to Louise Ferenc and Emily Mère because they're women, we guys all listen to Howard Hanson because he's American. I mean, we have all of these non-musical reasons for doing things. And the fact of the matter is that there are a few transcendent geniuses out there, more than people say, for example, I would say, but still a rather limited number. And then there's a big second tier of very gifted, very accomplished, extremely technically assured composers who deserve to be heard and who wrote tons and tons of beautiful music. And if it's not Beethoven, well, okay. If that's how you feel about this stuff, just go listen to Beethoven and nothing else. There's a lot of wonderful, wonderful stuff that is not regarded as the ultimate, product of the classical canon. And so Howard Hanson is one of those. He's a very, very good composer, a very solid composer, a very technically assured composer. And the Romantic Symphony is an exquisitely beautiful, finely crafted piece that really does serve as an exemplar to the evil god Cancrozans. I think not just of Hanson's work, but of all of those wonderful American symphonists who are so shamefully neglected in American concert halls. And it happens everywhere. I mean, especially with the 20th century, because we tend to worship the past. I mean, the 20th century is the past now, of course, but the far past, the past, the limited canon of great works. I mean, there's an industry dedicated to preserving their exalted sacred status. And when somebody else breaks into it, we're very reluctant to give them time of day, but we really ought to. I mean, it would be so much healthier for our musical life, for our concert life, if we had a chance to hear some of these extremely attractive and very, very enjoyable works by admittedly second-tier composers. And second-tier not because they didn't write the occasional masterpiece or the music isn't any good. Second-tier only because of the political and logistical fact that we only have room for so many people who are going to consider to be like the ultimate. But none of that matters. It really doesn't. These people deserve to be heard, and the music they wrote is lovely. And the Howard Hanson Romantic Symphony is the exemplar, I think, the iconic case in point of a piece of music that is shamelessly appealing, but not pandering. It's just beautiful and written in a conservative style, but a very attractive one. And you know, it deserves as much love and attention as we have time to give it. And I have plenty of time to give it the attention it deserves. And I think we need to make the case to the God Cankrazans that we should have the right to discover and enjoy all of this other stuff that would otherwise fall by the wayside. We don't even need an evil God to curse classical music to let it fall by the wayside. It's already fallen by the wayside because of our own indifference and ignorance, and it's a disgrace. So let's wake up and give this stuff the time and attention it deserves. Keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.